It's Diane Mireles with Visions Traditions Realty, here today for our Tuesday tidbits to talk to you regarding the pre-qualification and pre-approval process in getting a home loan. You know, typically agents talk to you about when you want to go buy something, they'll say, well, have you gotten pre-approved or pre-qualified? And a lot of people will actually go online and do the pre-qualification and think that that is what they need in order to get a loan. And the pre-qualification part of it is that's when you get pre-qualified, that's a whole other process than the pre-approval. But let me start by letting you know that your negotiating power could be lessened if you don't get a pre-approval. And 88% of people out there are going to get a home loan. They're going to get financing. 88% of the buyers out there are going to finance. So it's very, very important. And if you're a seller, this helps you make decisions as to whether or not you want to talk to or you want to entertain the contract that was submitted to you based on the pre-approval or pre-qualification letter. So anyway, wanted to let you know that, hang on a second, I got my notes down here. I'm flying solo today. Normally I have Lisette helping me, and her daughter got sick, so she had to go pick her up from school, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed and praying that it's not the flu. But oh gosh, I hope not, bless her heart. So, okay, so on the pre-qualification, there is no documentation required. Pre-qualification is a good way for you to go online and enter information and get some idea of what kind of house mortgage you could afford. They're not going to run your credit. The pre-qualification process is completely based on what you tell them, what you tell the lender, or what you input online. So you can actually, it gives you an opportunity though to go out there and interview with different lenders on the pre-qual side. And you know, they need to supply you with some closing cost estimates and talk to you about rates and things like that. Now, the pre-qualification, to me, when I'm representing a seller or even a buyer, I'm not impressed with the pre-qualification just because I know it's based totally on what somebody says. So what we say our debt is may not always be what comes up when the credit's pulled, and that happens when you get into the pre-approval process. So on the pre-approval process, you know, that's where you get into documentation with your loan officer. The lender is going to ask you for some documentation, some paycheck stubs, tax returns, things like that. The pre-approval part of it, to me, is so much better because by that point, hey David, oh, Lisette is on. She's helping me out here. Yay, Lisette, thank you. And David, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And Cheyenne and Bob, good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. So right now we're getting into the pre-approval process. The pre-approval process is a little bit more intense. You're going to have to come up with documentation. By the time you do the pre-approval process, you want to have your lender in your back pocket. You want to know which lender you're going to work with so that you can go ahead and give him he or she, some documentation to start this process. Now, on a pre-approval process, that doesn't mean that you're approved for the loan, because it actually takes that whole time that you're looking for a house, and when you make an offer on a house, until the closing day, you're really not approved for the property or approved for the loan. Excuse me. So always remember that neither one of those is going to lock you into an interest rate. So when you're talking to a lender, talk to, you know, now they're coming up with, or coming back with, the lock-in shops. So that is a good way to kind of to hook into something if you can. And typically on the lock-in shops, it may cost you a little bit more, but it is a good way. I mean, since interest rates are rising, excuse me, it is a good way to kind of hold a rate, and then that way, by chance, if things go down, you can always grab that lower rate. Bear with me here. Okay, so on the pre-approval, don't forget the deal's not done until the closing day. Now, typically when I'm working with a buyer, I always recommend to them that prior to, and getting a real estate agent, when you're wanting to buy or sell a house, getting a real estate agent is the first step that you need to do, because your agent is going to have all that information for you. Your agent is going to be able to, oops, sorry. Your agent is going to be able to direct you to people in the area who are knowledgeable and who other companies are comfortable working with, that they know they can get the deal done for you. For example, I've got a couple of lenders that I really recommend, because I know when they tell me on a pre-approval that it's a pre-approval, and I know that they've taken it to another level, and I know that they will get the deal done. But be very, very cautious, because, oh, I'm sorry, let me back up here. Typically, what I like for my clients to do is, when they have that lender, meet with the lender, get your pre-approval, but then start your loan process. Because until that lender starts getting all that information from you, they really don't know that much. They're basing it on black and white, which is great, but they will need to be sure that there's not going to be anything hidden in there. They need to check your bank statements to check how your deposits are being made. So basically, what I'm telling you is pre-approval is going to be better, stronger, make you look stronger to any home seller. And if you can, get that lender, take that pre-approval to the next level. Start working with that lender and giving them the documentation that they're going to need to submit it to the underwriter. And that way, maybe you can get approved subject to a house or subject to a contract. And actually, I've got a client right now that I'm working with that is approved and subject to the contract of the house. And actually, Cheyenne is on here, and want to say that my client is having redfish inspections, inspect the house on the 8th. So yeah, I love redfish inspections. Anyway, it makes it a lot easier, because I think one of the most stressful parts of the lending portion of the home buying transaction, is the lending part of it and supplying that documentation, because they're constantly asking for something, and they're asking for the same things over and over and over again. But that's because they have to. It's not you, it's not your loan officer, it's what the government requires and what the banking institutions require in order to process these loans. Oh my goodness, here I go again talking, and I forgot what I wanted to say. Darn. Oh well, there we go. Leave it to me. It is, what you can do also is make your list of questions to ask your lender, and talk to them about your closing costs and see what it's going to cost you. Typically, rates are going to be rates, and your rates are based on your credit. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Thank goodness. Okay. So when you start this process, when you decide you want to buy a home, stop everything. Just stop. Flat out stop. Get your real estate agent. Hook up with your lender. Don't do anything until your lender or agent approve it. Don't buy a car. You don't want to buy that Maserati that just came out, or that Tesla that just came out that looks like it's a really good deal. What you want to do, you don't want to open up any credit cards. You don't even want to make any large purchases. I mean, be very, very careful. Talk to your lender about the purchases that you make on a regular basis, and then talk to them if you were wanting to buy a sofa or buy a new refrigerator or something like that. Talk to the lender about it first. Be sure that they know that this is going on, because it could affect your credit rating. 24 hours before you close on that house, the lender's going to run your credit again, and they're going to check your employment. And I have actually seen in a couple instances where that happened, and loan approval could not be given the day of the closing, because the day before somebody went and bought a truck. You don't do anything at that point. You really want to rely on the professionals to help guide you. I always joke and tell my clients, don't even breathe unless we tell you it's okay. I mean, that sounds really crazy and it's to the extreme, but you have to be very, very cautious. The market that we're in is extremely, the lending market that we're in is extremely, particular, and we want to be sure that we make the lenders happy and watch, or not the lenders, but definitely the underwriters, because they are being guided by laws. And we want to be sure that we give them the opportunity to follow those laws correctly, and we don't need to rock the boat to make these deals happen. Anyway, that's the scoop on pre-qualifications and pre-approval. You can see that I'm a big fan of the pre-approval process and a big fan of taking it even further, because it just helps in the whole transaction. I do have a little tidbit for you, little gossip tidbit. Have you all heard that Southwest Airlines is now going to start flying to Hawaii? Woohoo! That's so cool. The one thing is, I'll tell you, I'm a little bit ticked off because I don't know how they did it. Apparently, they were offering $49 fares to Hawaii. And some people, it was a limited amount, and apparently they sold out rather quickly, which I'm sure they would. Who wouldn't? I mean, I'd buy one just to buy it. But yeah, so Southwest Airlines is going to fly to Hawaii. That's so exciting, out of Houston. Now they'll most likely have to make a stop in California or somewhere and do an overnight, or not an overnight, but a little bit of a layover like planes normally do. But woo, we're going to Hawaii, folks. Yay. Okay, so next week, I think what we're going to talk about is we're going to identify maybe the generations of home buyers and sellers. Let's talk about maybe the different generations and see how they differ, or according to statistics and studies shown, what they're looking for. I think that will be kind of fun since we've talked about millennials. Maybe we can get into the baby boomers and Generation X a little bit. Anyway, guys, it was a pleasure talking to you today. I hope that you found this informative. I hope you found it interesting. If you have any kind of real estate questions, give me a call, message me, whatever. And if you're looking to buy or sell a house, definitely call Visions and Traditions Realty. We're here for you. We like to take things, offer you that boutique experience, hands-on, and want you to feel special. You're very, very special to us. I want to give a shout out to Cultivate, our favorite caterer in the area. They're absolutely fabulous. And again, if you're looking to buy or sell, give us a call and we will see you next week. Thanks so much for joining in, and talk to you soon. Bye.